Welcome to 7 Skills for the Future podcast. My name is Emma Sue Prince, and this podcast is based on the internationally selling book by the same name. This book focuses on 7 important skills. They are adaptability, critical thinking, empathy, integrity, being proactive, being optimistic, and being resilient. And this podcast is all about how you can bring these skills into your everyday life so that you are living a life full of happiness, full of purpose, great relationships, doing work that you love, and just really getting the most out of life. Welcome back to 7 Skills for the Future podcast. My name is Emma Sue Prince, and I'm joined by my producer, James.
Hi, Emma Sue, and hello, everyone. So we're at the end now of Series 5 of the 7 Skills for the Future podcast, and we had a really great Series 5. So we thought we'd end the series by having a reflection on some of the episodes that we listened to. And one of the things we did in this series, Emma Sue, was, of course, we brought back the episodes between you and me, where we discuss different aspects of the 7 skills. What sticks out for you when you think about those episodes?
Yes, I think the first one that comes to mind for me is the episode about joy, because it really is about looking for joy every single day. And I think just as a result of doing that episode, I started finding more joy and more joyful experiences in the day, which was just lovely. And we had some great feedback from listeners who just said how much they enjoyed that episode and how much they got from it. So that one really stood out for me.
Yeah. And for me too, I had exactly the same experience. I really found, I mentioned in the episode that I get a lot of joy from music, and I really noticed when this happened to me. Literally the next day, I was just listening to this song, and I thought, I love this song so much. I just stopped everything I was doing and just sat there and went, experience the joy. So it really worked for me as well.
Yeah, and it's great because it's just such a simple thing. It's such a simple thing to do. And then I think the second one that I really liked a lot was the one about spending time alone. And I think I'm probably a bit biased because I just actually genuinely do love spending time alone.
Yeah.
But what it made me think of the most was the importance of spending time in nature and getting outside and going for walks, because sometimes with some of the work that I do, I don't go out at all, and I really notice it. So that was interesting for me, because I think as a result, again, of doing that episode, it made me think about just how vital it is to have that reflection time, you know?
Yeah, and that's something actually I did last week. I went for a very long walk on my own, because this was something that we talked about in the episodes. And yes, it was very nice, although I'm very unfit at the moment, so I was destroyed. But that can improve. But the idea, they're getting out there and just having a bit of alone time. It was a very nice experience. So yeah, that one helped me a lot as well.
Yeah, and I especially like linking those episodes back to the 7 skills, because I think it just brings to life how you can make very simple tweaks, but you're actually bringing these skills of, whether it's critical thinking or using reflection to help you with critical thinking, or joy to help you with optimism. You're actually building these skills as a result of the kinds of little things that you do.
Absolutely, yes. And in this series, we did some great interviews. So the first interview was with Dr Max McKeown. What do you remember about Max?
Well, I mean, I would like to just say, first of all, that I just loved the interviews this season. And, it was such an honor to meet these people, because they were all people that I've either quoted or referenced somehow in 7 Skills for the Future. So I must just say that, first of all, because it really was, with each of them, in a way, it was really like attending a mini lecture, one-to-one, but really accessible and unique. So I must say that about all of them. But so Max was just lovely. He had so many great tips about adaptability, and it was all about linking it to being able to copy our behaviour ourselves. So even if we just kind of think back to a time when we've performed really, really well, just thinking about it can help us with the next situation that we have to do. But it has to be a conscious thing. And that stood out for me in that interview.
Yeah. And then next up was Jack Lewis. What did you learn from Jack?
So these are really difficult questions, James, because, I learned so much from each of them, and I'm trying to distill it into like one particular thing, especially Dr. Jack, because he was just full, just bursting with knowledge and experiences. I think from him, the biggest takeaways, I think, were all around that, if you want your brain to be creative and resourceful and to function really, really well, then you have to find ways to slow down. And whether that's through meditation, so he was a huge skeptic of meditation, but now meditates for 10 minutes every day, or whether it's going out and being alone, or whether it's managing how you use your smartphone, how you're interacting. He was saying that those things are really crucial for being able to use your brain really, really well when it comes to critical thinking.
And then next we had Warren Berger. What was your takeaway from Warren?
I think with him, I was just fascinated that somebody devotes their whole life to asking questions. So that was his whole thing. It was all around the kinds of questions you can ask in all sorts of different kinds of situations, and also hearing about his work to bring that more into education and into schools. So that was very inspiring.
Definitely, yes. And then finally, we had Alex Soojung-Kim and another double episode. What did you learn from Alex?
Well, with Alex, it was just so enriching and absorbing to hear about all these companies and individuals who are actively changing how they work. So, it seems so radical to shorten your working hours, to do that. But he made it just all seem really easy. And really had a lot of proof that the world of work and the way that we work is changing. Lots of organizations are adopting this idea of the 4-day week and, having huge productivity benefits as a result. So, yeah, really great.
Yeah, so great. We had lots of great episodes this series. And if you missed any of those episodes, they're all available there for you to go back and listen to. Okay, so before we wrap up this Series 5, Emma, so what can we look forward to in Series 6?
Yeah, we have lots in store next season. So some more great interviews. We have Robert Poynton, who is somebody who specialises in improvisational skills and teaches these skills to the world's biggest brands and companies, and also at the University of Oxford. I'm also interviewing 2 incredible women who are revolutionising our thoughts and approaches to ageing really well. So they have a project called the Age Well Project, and they'll be telling us all about small tweaks and changes we can make so that we can live with more energy and vitality as we age. So really good topic. And we're going to be talking about, you and I are going to be talking about failure and why that's really helpful and good. And we're talking about apologizing rather than saying sorry all the time, which we do. And a whole new kind of episode where I'm going to be talking about my top reading recommendations to go into more depth on each of the 7 skills.
Yes, because Emma Sue is very well read, so I thought we must take advantage of this. Okay, well that sounds great. So I'm sure our listeners are looking forward to these episodes coming soon in Series 6. Okay, I think that brings this series to an end, doesn't it, Emma Sue?
Yes, it does, and it's been great. I hope you've really enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
Thank you for listening to the 7 Skills for the Future podcast. There are all sorts of things you can do to boost each of the 7 skills. If you want more ideas, you can buy the book, 7 Skills for the Future. You can also go online to our website, Unimentor, and join as a member, and you'll be able to access more resources, ideas, and free downloads. If you have a question you want to ask on these podcasts, get in touch through Instagram at 7 Skills for the Future, or on Twitter and Facebook at Unimentor. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your podcast player of choice.